let's look at the Minimax regret criteria. This criteria basically says that you're trying to find the option or alternative that minimize the largest penalty or regret. So let me show you an example. There's a company. The company needs to decide to build a large plant, a small plant, or not doing anything at all at this point. Once the company decides to build a plant, it can produce a new product, but the profitability of that product depends on the market outcome. The market could be favorable or unfavorable. If it builds a large plant and market turns out to be favorable, this is the amount of profit it can generate. Otherwise, if the market is unfavorable, it generates a loss. So how can you apply Minimax regret criterion in this example? First, let's look at what is the best reward you could have gained from every possible market outcome. For example, if the market is favorable, then the best reward you can get is $200,000. This is the largest number among these three numbers. If the market is unfavorable, then among all of the options, the largest reward you could possibly gain is simply the largest of these three numbers, 0. So that's the first step. Next, let's construct a table called opportunity loss table to record the so-called regret. So the regret is simply the amount that you could have gained additionally if you have made the best option. You have chosen the best alternative. For example, if the market turns out to be favorable and you choose to build a large plant, then in that case, compared to the best outcome, the reward from best outcome, you're actually getting $200,000. The regret here is 0 because the difference between what you get and the best outcome is 0. It's the same. So there's no regret. You're actually choosing the best outcome. But if the market is favorable, but you choose a small plant, then, well, you now actually get $100,000. But you know what? If you have chosen the best alternative, you could have gained $200,000. So that means there's a gap between what you actually get here versus what you could have got from the best outcome. So the difference is $100,000. That's your regret. But if you build if you do nothing and the market is favorable, then you actually now get nothing, 0. But you could have gained $200,000 if you have chosen the best outcome. So the regret is $200,000 here. So basically, what we're going to do here is for every possible market outcome, we're going to calculate the regret for every alternative. And the regret is simply a difference between what you actually get from that alternative and the best reward you could have obtained. Likewise, if the market is unfavorable, in this case, the best outcome you can get is 0, and then the regret is simply 0 minus the actual reward from each possible outcomes. So you have those regrets. With that, let's find out for every alternative what is the largest regret you could possibly have. For example, if you construct a large plant, then you get a regret 0 in this market outcome. You get a regret of this number. In the unfavorable market, the largest regret you could have got with a large plant is simply the larger of those two numbers, which is 180,000. Likewise, you can find the maximum regret for each of the other alternative. $100,000 is simply the largest among these two numbers. $200,000 is the largest among these two numbers. So what do those numbers mean? They simply represent the largest regret an alternative can possibly have. And do we like regret? No, we don't. No one wants to regret. So what we're going to do now? Well, we're going to choose the alternative that gives you the smallest regret, the largest regret you can have. This 3 number represent the largest regret you can possibly have, and we're going to minimize that. That tells you should build a smallest plant, because if you build a small plant, then in the worst case you can only lose $100,000, which is smaller than the greatest loss you can possibly generate from all of the other options.